Imagine that you had no idea when you were born. Based on how old you feel inside, how old would you say you are?
27.
Why?
I don't know. I know that I think about that quite often. So that's how I feel.
I feel, I think as old as I am, so I'm approaching 30, and that's how old I feel.
I would like to think that I'm probably about 62. And that's pushing it a bit.
Oh, I mean, I feel 84, but I don't think anyone would believe me if I told them no. I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be able to answer that. I don't know.
I mean, I actually am 21, maybe more like 25, I don't know.
Probably about 30. Just because I remember lots of very good times from then, and that's where I feel I am. I forget I've got grey hair, and when I look in the mirror I'm a bit shocked, really.
Oh, that depends on the day, I guess. Like, it changes over time, but I'll probably say around early 20s.
Of course, we can't deny the age we are, our chronological age. But the idea of only being as old as you feel may be more than just wishful thinking. Some scientists are very interested in this concept of subjective age and how it affects our health and well-being. Unsurprisingly, researchers have found that the difference between our chronological age and our subjective age changes over our lifetimes. Up to the age of 25, we tend to feel older than we are. Then this switches. By the age of 30, nearly 3/4 of us feel younger than we are. Scientists believe that cultural attitudes and stereotypes around aging may influence this perception of age. But our concept of aging is also changing as life expectancy changes. In 1955, the average life expectancy at birth was under 50 years. Now it's over 70 years. Experts think that by 2050, there will be more than 2.1 billion people over 60 and 425 million people over 80 years old. Japan has the highest life expectancy in the world. The Japanese island of Okinawa has more centenarians, people who are 100 years old or more, than anywhere else in the world. What is more, they seem to age more slowly than other people. According to scientists, people who are actually 70 often have the bodies of 50-year-olds. And what's the Okinawan secret to living such long, healthy lives? Experts believe it's the combination of eating a healthy diet that includes plenty of fish, vegetables and seaweed, staying active, and spending lots of time with friends and family. On Okinawa, people say you are a child until you are 55. And when you reach 97, there's a special celebration called Kajimaya to celebrate the fact that now it is time to be young again. On Okinawa, old age is prized, not feared. We all have a different personal experience of age and aging. In our teenage years, we can't wait to be older, to be able to leave school, to learn to drive. But by middle age, we might look back fondly on our youth, at the days before we settled down, before we had a job or a mortgage. What feels like the best age to be is very different for everyone. Is there an age you would be happy to remain at forever?
27. It's my ideal age.
Why is 27?
I don't know. I just think that I was between a grown-up and a youth, and I had a great time at that point of life. I still feel good, but that was even better. Life wasn't as serious then.
Around about the 30s. It was an exciting time for me and my husband. It was before we got married, and we did a lot of travelling around the world, and we had a good time. So for me, that's an age I quite like.
It's got to be your childhood, hasn't it? I think it really has. I mean, any time I talk about just the time I had when I was a kid at school with all my friends, still going playing out before like smartphones, before internet and things like that, it's just always going to be the best time of your life, I think, isn't it?
I would probably say around the early 30s. Haven't reached it yet, but I feel like it's an upward trajectory from there, and you feel a bit more like you're still young enough to change what you want from life, and you are at a place where you know enough to figure out what you actually want.
Yes, well, I'd like to be a bit more energetic, so I might stay at 40. That's a sort of respectable age for climbing mountains and things.
I think I'd pick the age when you've just got young grandchildren. I mean, I see my grandparents, they are just so happy with, new grandchildren coming along. I think at that age as well, you've perhaps achieved as much as you want to in your career, and even a career isn't the be-all and end-all in any event.
While our experience of aging is unique, there is also an enormous amount of research that's being done into the effect of age on our abilities. While none of the results are definitive, there are some interesting findings, especially when it comes to establishing when we peak at all sorts of different things. Scientists have found that our ability to learn languages peaks at the age of 6 or 7. But our vocabulary, even in our own language, doesn't peak until our late 60s. And when it comes to maths, our arithmetic skills peak at 50. Our memory generally peaks around the age of 28. But some studies have shown that our memory for names peaks at around age 22, while our memory for faces doesn't peak until 32. And our understanding of other people's emotions doesn't peak until our 40s and 50s. One of the most interesting findings is about life satisfaction. Studies have shown that life satisfaction seems to come and go. It first peaks in our early 20s, and then again in our late 60s. And at what age are most people likely to make big life decisions? Well, any age that ends in a 9, of course.